One of the questions people often ask after leaving an abusive relationship is this: how do they manage to take so much from me? They have taken your time, your energy, your confidence, your money, your opportunities, sometimes even your relationships with friends and family. And when people finally step back and look at what happened, they often feel shocked. They think, how did I allow that? But that question is based on a misunderstanding. Hi there, I'm David McDermott, and here I want to explain how the manipulators insinuate themselves into your life in such a way that they take everything away from you. Asking the question, how did I allow this, assumes that you had a real choice in the matter. You did not. You were manipulated into living in a false reality. And once that false reality is in place, your decisions start to make sense inside that reality. Manipulators don't take everything all at once. If they tried to do that at the beginning, you'd walk away immediately. Instead, they take things gradually, step by step. Most manipulators don't begin with threats or intimidation. They begin with friendship. They are charming, attentive, and interested in you. They listen carefully. They make you feel understood. When someone treats you that way, you naturally begin to trust them. And trust changes how we behave. When we trust someone, we share information about ourselves. We give them the benefit of the doubt. We lower our guard. So while they are doing all that, they are also gathering information about you. What motivates you? What worries you? What you care about? What you fear? What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And where do you have vulnerabilities? In other words, they learn where your emotional buttons are. And the more information you share, the easier it becomes for them to influence you. This is a very significant part of the manipulation. But I want to be clear, it's not your fault for sharing. This is what happens in normal relationships. But the manipulators can be very good at extracting information from people. And they later use that information in very specific ways. Now at this stage it may still feel like a normal relationship, but in reality they're collecting information that allows them to guide and control your actions. Here's something that many people miss. This information is used in a very particular way from the word go. What is that? They offer you exactly what you're looking for in that particular moment. This may be a job, money, the solution to a major problem. In the case of cults, it can be a relationship with God or martial arts training, a healthier lifestyle, relief from physical symptoms. For many people, what they're offering is a fantastic, intimate relationship. You want company, somebody to share your life with, somebody to love who will love you back. And suddenly, that person seems to be standing right in front of you. It's not just about love bombing you to make you feel great. It's also about fulfilling a deep-seated need or desire that you have. This first impression they create is all the more powerful for this. This initial impression is what propels you into the relationship. It's also the reference you use later on when things are not going so great. You keep thinking, if you could just get back to how things were at the beginning. Manipulation often begins with very small requests, a small favour, a small compromise. Hey, I feel uncomfortable when this happens. Can you stop doing that? Something that seems reasonable at the time. And because the request is small, you don't think much about it. The relationship is great. You want to keep the things running smoothly. But once you agree to something small, it becomes easier to agree to something slightly larger. And the manipulator adds in a catch. Something you're probably not aware of. They make the relationship, the good times, conditional. If you don't go along with the program, you may lose the relationship. Gradually, the requests become bigger. And they're not really requests anymore. They are demands. They want more of your time, more emotional energy, more effort on your part, more attention on their wants and needs, and less attention on yours. But because the changes happen slowly, you may not notice how much the balance has shifted. Manipulators also create powerful emotional highs and lows. At times they make you feel valued, admired, loved. At other times they may withdraw affection, criticize you, or create conflict. These emotional swings are extremely powerful. They keep you trying to get back to the good moments. You find yourself thinking, if I can just fix these problems, things will go back to the way they were. But the good moments were part of the manipulation. They were set up to keep you invested in the relationship. Another tactic is isolation. Sometimes this happens gradually. The manipulator criticizes your friends or family, sometimes subtly, sometimes overtly. They create arguments that make social situations difficult. They encourage you to spend more and more time with them instead. Over time, your world becomes smaller. It revolves around them. And when people become isolated, they become easier to control. The manipulator has become your main source of information and influence. Manipulators also create a sense that you owe them. They will do nice things, making out that they're doing you a favor, so you owe them one in return. This taps into a powerful social rule called reciprocity. If someone does something for us, we feel obligated to return the favor. And manipulators exploit this. They will do a small favor and expect something big in return. Or they do something once and expect to be paid back forever. They will let you know over and over how they are sacrificing so much for your benefit. Reciprocity is very strong in our culture, and the manipulators know this, and they have no qualms about taking advantage of you in this way. The manipulators also rely heavily on fear and guilt to control people, large quantities of each. And of course, there's the dependency that I go on so much about. When all these things are in place, not only do you end up doing the bidding of the manipulator, but it's typical that you begin to even anticipate what the manipulator is going to want. Initially, you go to great efforts to provide that to please them. Eventually, your efforts go to avoiding their displeasure. One more thing. At first, certain behaviours of the manipulator might seem shocking, but you somehow put up with it because, after all, the relationship is so good and this behaviour is out of character. But if these behaviours happen repeatedly, they begin to feel familiar. And what is familiar often starts to feel normal. You find yourself justifying things that you would have once found unacceptable. You adapt to the situation. And while you're adapting, the manipulator continues to take more. When people finally recognize what has happened, they often blame themselves. They think they should have seen it earlier. But manipulation works precisely because it operates slowly and subtly. More importantly, most people don't understand mind control. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know what it feels like. So they don't recognize it when it is happening. Even people who've been in several abusive relationships don't fully understand it. Sure, they've been on the receiving end of it at the hands of several people, but they still get caught in the beginning of the relationship. Why? Because very often the new manipulator is not just love bombing them, but is also offering them a way out of the last bad relationship. Exactly what they want. And that makes the trap even easier to fall into. Mind control techniques are not a secret set of tools known only to a chosen few. They are basic influence techniques that are used with a particular outcome in mind to control and dominate others. They rely on normal human qualities: trust, kindness, loyalty, love, the desire to make relationships work. These are not weaknesses. These are the same qualities that make healthy relationships possible. These are not something that you have to change about yourself. The trick is to recognize when somebody is trying to exploit them. Understanding the mind control tactics and techniques also helps you to undo the effects of them so that you can get the manipulators out of your head and out of your life. Now that you understand something about how manipulators were able to take so much from you, another question naturally arises. How do I undo the effects that were imposed on me? How do I stop overgiving? How do I stop the people pleasing? In the next video, I'll explain how to start dismantling the false reality the manipulator forced you to live in, and how to undo the people pleasing patterns they trained into you so that you can begin to take control of your life back again. Mind yourself. Take care.